Okay, so now we are recording. I do apologize. I forgot to hit record there on the. So if you missed the first few minutes, I do apologize. But this is really basically the first slide here, just kind of going over some of the new functions with the catalog. Again, just recapping very quickly, it does give you a much more relevant algorithm to bring those most relevant displays up to the top. It has a did you mean function showing you, if you spelled something wrong, what it'll give you some suggestions. And the new catalog does allow you to search ebooks as well. So let's go ahead and move on to the next slide. So what I mean is, so some other things that are kind of nice when you search for something in the Encore catalog, for in this example that you're seeing here, the John Grisham book, Playing for Pizza. Over on the left-hand side of the catalog, you'll see a bunch of different ways to narrow your search results. So you can, for example, narrow it down by availability. Is this book available at all, or is it in online format? So you can narrow that search. Certainly, this really only comes into play if it's like a new bestseller. Most books that are over 6 months old generally are available at least somewhere in the Minuteman catalog. You can narrow your search down by format, book, ebook, large print, DVD, etc. So you can, if this were something that were, a title that was also made into a movie, you might be looking for the book, or you might be looking specifically for the movie, or maybe the spoken CD. So you have different ways of narrowing down your format there. Location, of course, is just all the 43 libraries that are in the Minuteman catalog. You can limit your focus down to, if you just want to know, does Maynard have this book? Location and collection, I should mention, are essentially the same thing. The only thing being that collection can break down a library into like the general collection of a library, and then also the children's section of a library. So you'll see there in our example, we've got Maynard and then Maynard Children's, so that it kind of just breaks it down a little bit further like that. And then you can also limit your search to specific language, tags and subject headings, and places, just like where the book takes place. In some cases that might be relevant. In this case, it's a book that takes place in Italy, so you see Italy there up at the top. So that's just when you go ahead and do a search in the Encore catalog, you'll always see that on the left-hand side, showing you just different ways of narrowing your search results. And then if you click into one of these specific items, so like for example, if you click on the title here, Playing for Pizza, that'll bring you to the specific item record, which gives you a lot more detail about the item. So in this example here, we've got Battlestar Galactica season 2.5. If you click on where it says See All, that's where you'll actually get because the catalog, if it just showed you all this information by default, which every single library that owns, that's particular season, that you'd be scrolling forever. But what's nice I'm actually going to go exit this so that I can show you maybe a more concrete example here. So if we go to the catalog and Garden of Beasts, and there's the book that we're looking for. What's nice is that you can see it shows you here that it's available in Acton. It doesn't know that I'm in Maynard yet. If I was on a library computer, if I was logged in as a Maynard patron, it would know to just search show Maynard up at the top. But if I click here on See All, you'll see here it shows me this is available. There's 2 copies in Acton. That's the call number where I can find it on the shelf, and the status is available. So I'll know that I can go pick it up. And then if you can click on Show Remaining Items, you'll see all the different Minuteman libraries. And you can see like here, Cambridge Collins has 1 copy that's in transit. Cambridge Central Square's copy is out, and then you scroll through, and then you get to Maynard. It's actually our copy's on display. Actually, it's in my hands right now. But anyways, so that's where you can get a little bit more information about what libraries own the book, where it is in that specific library, and whether it's available. Now, once you have that information, certainly you could go to the library and pick it up, but sometimes you might want to just request it and have it sent to your library if your home library doesn't own it, or if you you just want to place a request for it and you're not ready to go pick it up yet. Basically, once you're in this search field here, you just click on request it. And then it's going to prompt you to put in your library card number and your PIN. If at any point you either don't remember your PIN or you can't find your card, just call the library. We'll be able to reset your PIN. It really takes like 30 seconds to do. It's a very quick process. And if for some reason you don't have a PIN, if you just got a brand new library card or something like that, down at the bottom, there's actually instructions to create a PIN if you don't already have one. And those instructions are very simple. You just enter your full library card number, no spaces in there, just the full number. And then you leave the PIN field blank and hit submit. And then it'll, if you don't have a PIN, it'll then prompt you to create one. It just has to be 4 characters. That's really the only requirement on that. So I'm going to go ahead and submit. And now it's saying I would like to pick up this title from Maynard because in my account I have Maynard set up as my my default. When you set up your library card, that's kind of something that the circulation staff takes care of. So you should all, assuming you're all Maynard residents, you should have Maynard as your default there. So I can of course select a different library just by scrolling down there, but let's go ahead and click Maynard. And then we just hit submit. And then, yes, your request for In the Garden of Beasts, Love, Terror, and American Family in Hitler's Berlin was successful. When it's ready, you will be able to pick this material at Maynard. And then you'll get receive an email or a phone call, depending on what's in your account, letting you know that it's ready for you. Okay, so that's pretty much a very quick rundown of a very basic search here in the catalog. Some different ways you can narrow your search down. You can, of course, over here on the left, you can see, if I want to just see, what Acton has. And you can see that there are other titles with similar, like Garden of Beasts, a novel of Berlin in 1936, very similar, exact same topic, just different author. There's different formats listed here in Acton. And then as you scroll down, you get further and further away from exactly what you were looking for. But and then you've got other ways of narrowing your search by format, place, etc. So that's kind of a quick rundown like that. Some other things to show you once you search for a book. So let's say we did that search for In the Garden of Beasts and we didn't actually want to request it quite yet. There are some other things that you can do. You can add it to your cart. So the adding to your cart, really, it's like, on the online shopping, you can do like a batch request of a bunch of different things. So there's really, you saw how quickly you can request an item. I don't really know that there's any benefit to adding it to your cart and then requesting it as a batch. But if you were requesting like 30 different children's books, you might have, that might be something worth doing. And then another option is to email. Basically, this emails the record to yourself. So if you, for whatever reason, wanted to, you weren't requesting it, but you just wanted a copy of the item record, you have that option as well. And then that little plus sign that appears here, that really just gives you the option to add a tag. And that basically gives you an option to like, really just get, like, if you're familiar with the book, you can say, this is a World War II book, or you can, it's kind of like it really doesn't get a lot of use, but anyways, it is there. So let's go ahead and also talk about some other specific items that you can find in an item record. So an item record, again, is when you click into the record here, all this detail that it gives you about the book. this is the item record. So let's just a rundown of the things that it shows you. The obvious information is obviously the title, the author, the number of pages, when it was published, what company published it, etc. There will, in most cases, be a cover image, a summary of the book. Usually it's like a paragraph or two. Most times you'll find a table of contents if that's relevant. Subject headings. Subject headings are really important. So like if you're doing information on if, like in this example, World War II or Hitler or whatever it might be, you can click on the subject headings and it'll give you other books that were also categorized in that subject heading. It also gives you you might also like, similar to when you search for something on Amazon, if you search for bathing suits, it'll say you might also like swim flip-flops or swim floaties, all these other things that are similar to the thing that you originally searched for. So the catalog will give you some suggestions based on that search. It'll give you author biography. In many cases, it'll give you an excerpt from the book. So maybe like the first, 5-10 pages of the book. So you can decide if that's, and that'll be in an ebook format. So kind of let you, see if it's something you might want to pursue further. It'll give you reviews of the books from Publishers Weekly, Kirkus, a few other sources that kind of lets you decide before you go ahead and request the book if it's something you'd be interested in. And then the last thing it gives you is the Lexile reading level, which is it kind of gives you like a grade level that the information in the book is presenting. So it might say that it's a fourth grade reading level. So this is mostly good for parents that are trying to figure out what level for their children the book is. So just to show you in the example here, we've got, here's our format. It's a book. Crown Trade was the publisher, 2011. It's the first edition. It's showing me where it's available. I had narrowed it down to Acton, so it would show me all the other copies if I hadn't done that already. It tells me that that's the ISBN number. These are the subject headings. So if I can search for William Dodd, who was the US ambassador to Germany, that's referenced in this. He's basically the main person in this book. The National Socialism Party in Germany, Germany's social conditions, all kinds of things like that. I can also scroll down and see these are read-alikes and similar authors to Eric Larson. So I can, click on any of these and kind of get some book recommendations. It gives me some story elements. The Goodreads reviews, those are actually, if you're not on Goodreads, Goodreads is a great resource for, learning more about specific books. A lot of community reviews, so you can kind of, actually you can see there's over 15,000 reviews of this one book. So you can definitely, scroll and you see it got 4 out of 5 stars. The Lexile reading level says this would be for upper grades, so 9.7 is pretty high level. And it shows any awards that it won. So it was New York Times Notable Book of 2011. There's some articles about the book, and then there's some author notes, some more awards, reviews, excerpts, all kind of table of contents. This is where you can get a lot more information than you used to be able to obviously get on a basic card catalog. So you can get a lot of information on any given book. Now, older books, so anything published, in the 90s and earlier, you're probably not going to get quite as much information about the book just because the content wasn't there. But moving forward, a lot of newer stuff will definitely have all these facets. All right. So I'm actually just gonna take a quick peek. Okay, nobody had, and I will say, as we're going through this, I'm gonna take a quick peek at the chat. So if you have any questions about anything that I'm talking about, feel free to put them in the chat. I might not be able to answer right away. I'm gonna minimize the chat from time to time, but I'll check back in if anybody has any questions. So go ahead and put those questions in the chat if you have any. All right, so moving back to here. Let's go ahead and review the advanced search, which is really the search that I use most times. If I'm doing a search, even just for a basic title, I often use the advanced search because what's nice is you can narrow your search right away down to a specific format or a specific thing. It's much easier to get to the result that exactly what you want. The basic search is what you would use if you want to explore like a topic. So like if you're looking for like Italy travel books, you might say, Italy travel in your search box. But if you want to look for like a specific book or author, that's where I recommend use the advanced search. And the way to get to that advanced search, if we just go back here to we just go back to the main search box here. This is the basic search. It just looks like Google. It's got, the one little search box here. But if we click on advanced search, that's where we can kind of narrow our search down a lot further without having to click on all those facets on the left-hand side. So if I say that I want to search for, actually the title is In the Garden of Beasts. I could say, and it also has to be, because there is another book that has a very similar title. I want to say it's the Erik Larson book. He's the author. Not subject, author. I'll talk about Boolean search in just a minute there. I can narrow my search down to, like if I'm only looking for books between, X year and X in Y year, I can, certainly narrow that. And that might come in handy if you're looking for like an SAT prep book. But you're looking for something that came out in the last year or two, you might say, 2020 to 2021 or something like that. So that's where that sort of thing would come in handy. Or if you're looking for a Microsoft Excel book, but you don't want something that was published in, 2009, you'd say, 2010 and to 2021, you could do something like that. Some other things here, you've got your format, of course. So right now, I think we're going to look for book, but you can see there's tons of different formats here. Even old VHS, somehow there must be one or two libraries in Minuteman that still have some of those. But anyways, you can narrow your search down to specifically just print books. Or even, large print, you can select large print or, whatever it might be, Blu-ray, all the digital resources are there. There's all those different formats there. And language, this would be where, if you were looking for this book in a certain other language, you can search a whole bunch of those right there. Let's say I'm looking specifically for Maynard's Copy. This is where you would go ahead and do that. And again, collections, we won't really play around with the collections, but so let's go ahead and do search. There's our book, In the Garden of Beasts, and you'll see that it just came with there's only one record that matched everything that we had put in there. In the Garden of Beasts, Erik Larson, and it had to be in Maynard. So those were the three options that we had selected there to come up with this one result. Whereas if we had just done the search in the catalog, we'd be getting results for the ebook. We'd be getting results for that other book that was written back in the 90s with a similar title. And then as you scroll down, it gets even further and further out of whack. But this is why sometimes if you're looking for a specific book or a specific author, whatever it may be, advanced search can be a much more powerful resource for finding what it is. And you can still search by subject in here or keyword, whatever it may be. It's really up to you, but I just find it from experience, if you're looking for a specific book or a specific item, advanced search is much better. But you can definitely get to your what you're looking for with the regular search as well. Okay, and yeah, so let's just talk a little bit more about advanced searching. Some of this I might have already reviewed, but basically, when you do advanced search, the search terms can apply to the entire index. So basically, it can be the keyword, the title, subject, author. It can be any of those things that you can input into there. You can also enter multiple terms in a keyword text box, and Encore is going to group that using a Boolean search. That's actually coming up. I'll talk about what Boolean searches are, but and the other thing too is the default form includes 2 keyword text boxes. You don't need to use that second box. What I mean by that is, here's one box, here's the other box. I don't need to use both boxes. If I only want to search for the title of the book, I don't have to put that Eric Larson is here. I can, it'll narrow my search down further, but I don't have to. And then, like if I just say any location, and it has to be the large print book. Here I'm seeing the record for the exact book I was looking for. These are all the large print copies in Minuteman, and I'm good. I'm not sure why this other one came up, but nothing's perfect. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Boolean searches. You saw that when we go back to the advanced search over here, you'll see this where it says add Boolean and, or, and not. Basically, Boolean is it's a system of showing relationships between two sets of words using and, or, not. And basically, you'll find this in Google searches. You'll find this in really any kind of search function, anything that you search, you can use this. And basically, this slide really breaks it down, I think, the best of how this works. If you type in the words in your catalog search, Boston, and then you have to put in capital A-N-D, Massachusetts, what your results are going to show are all the books, all the items in the catalog that have Boston, it has to have both words, Boston and Massachusetts, in those subject headings. So it has to, or in the somewhere in the keyword, it has to have both. It can't just be about, just Boston. It can't be just Massachusetts. It has both of them in there. And the other Boolean search option you can do is the or. So this one will show Windows or Macs, either one. If a book is about Windows, it'll be in your results. If it's about Macs, it'll be in the results. If it's about both Windows and Macs, it'll have everything in there. You see that circle there? It'll show everything in your search results. And then the last one you can do is the not option. So you can search for books that are about animals but not zebras. So that those search results will show you books about all different animals, but for whatever reason, if you don't like zebras, it will show you everything but zebras. It'll show you elephants, lions, kangaroos, etc., but no books about zebras. So that's how you can use. So you basically type in capital letters in your search, either and, or not. And in your search results, it will feed you back, those options. So that's, so like if we say, let's try an example here. I'm trying to think, computers and video games. We'll get rid of this large print and we'll just leave it at that. Search. So all these book results, it might not necessarily be in the title, but it'll be the words computer and video games will be somewhere in the record here. You can actually see here in the summary, there's the word computer, and contents has video games. So somewhere in there, it tried to match both computers and video games. And likewise, you can do the same with the or the not. So I'm going to go back to the chat to make sure everybody's pretty cool with how Boolean searches work. Anybody have any questions on that? No, I think we're good. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and back to the slides here. let's talk a little bit about adjacency and truncating, and then we'll go ahead and talk about, we'll kind of step away from the Minuteman catalog a little bit and talk about options for searching for books outside of Minuteman. So another thing you can do within the library catalog here is adjacency. So that basically searches multiple words as one phrase, but only when they're put in those quotation marks. So the example I use here is if you put the 4 words United States Supreme Court all underneath, all in those quotation marks, it will search for those words in exactly that order. Because, you're going to have a lot of books, obviously, about the United States. You might have a lot of books about Supreme Courts, like in other countries. But if you type in the words United States Supreme Court and put them in quotation marks, it will search for just those 4 words in order and give those in your results. So it's something that comes in handy if you're doing a search for something. For example, maybe Finnish cooking, right? You might see a lot of books about Finnish. If you don't put those in quotations, but you just do a search for Finnish cooking, you're going to see some books that are about Finland's culture, Finland's history, etc. But and then you might also see some various cooking books. But if you put Finnish cooking, it'll search for just books that have Finnish cooking in it. So that's adjacency, using those quotation marks basically in your search. And then truncation is, it's also kind of known as wildcard searching, which basically allows you to search for something with variations on the spelling. So the example I give here is if you type in the word interact and then you put that asterisk at the end, it will search the catalog for the words interact, interacting, interaction, interactivity. So you can see where, based on the ending of the word, that truncation might come in handy, so that basically you don't have to, search for multiple variations on a keyword. So that's truncation. Let's talk a little bit about what to do. So let's say you search for a book and you don't find it in Minuteman. I mean, Minuteman does have over 2 million items, but even though we're 43 libraries, we don't have everything. We do have Somerville, Cambridge, Brookline, etc. But even those big libraries, we just can't have everything. So once you can't find something in Minuteman, your next step would be to search the Commonwealth catalog. The it's also kind of known as Comcat. That basically Comcat searches all the other libraries that are in Minuteman. In Massachusetts, there's CW Mars, which covers the central and western part of the state. There's Noble Network, which covers the north of Boston. There's Sales that covers the Cape. There's the Merrimack Valley Network. There's at least 2 or 3 that I'm forgetting, but there's various different library networks there that you can search. And if you go to Commonwealth catalog, you'll be able to search those other ones. So if we go here and can't find what you're looking for in your home library or library network, there you go. I'm not going to go over Comcat too much because that would eat up a lot of our time. But basically, it's important to just know that there is a keyword up at the top. It works just like the regular catalog. You can do advanced search over here on the right. Same as a regular catalog. You can narrow your search by title, author, subject, even ISBN, things like that. But even though I know that this book is in Minuteman, we're just gonna we'll try a different book, Fates and Traders. So I do that search for this book here, and it gives me the different formats: audiobook, book, large print. If I click on book here, then I can see, I know there's 2 different records, but it's essentially the same item here. If I click on book, it'll show me all these different places, all these different networks that it's available. And this one actually is just showing me all the BPL ones in the Metro Boston Library Network. The other one, I think, maybe would show me, these are more Western Mass, but basically it show, and then you just click on where it says request book. We're not going to do that actually, because this is a book we already have at Minuteman. But oh, and the other thing, actually, you have to be the reason it's not giving me an option to request the book is you have to log in up here. And the way to create an account, basically once you go in, here we go. If you click on login, you have to select your library, and then you just type in your library card number and then your PIN. It's your Commonwealth catalog card number and PIN is the same exact card number and PIN that you use for your Minuteman your library network. It's the two catalogs are linked, so it's not like creating another account for this. You're still using your same library card information. Okay, so that's Commonwealth catalog. So once you search, so like, let's say, go ahead and you search for something in Minuteman, you can't find it there. You search Comcat and you're still not finding the book. The last step you could try is something called Worldcat, which, by the name, you are searching the world. You're searching just about almost every lending library in the whole world. Right now, only I can request the item for you via Worldcat. So, but you can search Worldcat at home anytime. There's no, you don't even have to log in or anything. You can, if you just go to the website worldcat.org, you can go in and you can search for any item, there. I should mention, even though it's Worldcat, we can only request items and get them from libraries in the US and Canada. We don't typically go overseas. I mean, I guess if it was something, a case by case basis, but in my 10 years here, we've never really had to, usually we can find it in the US or Canada, but typically we don't go outside of the US or Canada. But, I guess we can always work something out. But at any rate, if you go to worldcat.org, I'm just going to search for a book that we just recently requested for somebody. Let's see. Yeah, this one came up the other day, Coffin Maker's Garden. This was an interesting one. So again, you go to worldcat.org, you can search everything, books, DVDs, CDs, etc. But I'm just going to go ahead and search for Coffin Maker's Garden here. It's thinking about it. And then you see a whole bunch of results here. It's a Stuart McBride book. I don't want here it shows the audiobook. And then there's a few listings here for the print book. Now, you do see different listings there for what's essentially the same book. I mean, you have to consider this is a worldwide catalog, so there's gonna be some crossover here. Even though it's the same book and the same publisher and everything, it's just the way the data gets put in here. It's depending on the cataloger, there's just 3 different records for it. But I can go ahead and click between the 3 here. And so like this one, I see actually this one you can cross off right away because this is New Zealand, Australia, etc. We're not going quite there. We click on the next one. This one, yeah, this is the one I'm looking for because I don't know why Australia shows. We're not 130 miles away from Australia. That one, these two are a wee bit off, but I did actually request this book for the patron, assuming that hopefully we could get it from the Rochester, New York Public Library, which is 316 miles away. I'm not sure. I guess Quebec, this place in Quebec, Canada, is a little bit shorter distance, but it's a little bit more of a pain to get a book from Canada. So we would request it from Rochester, New York. But basically, this is not something you have to worry too much about on your end. But basically, you know, when we request something from a library in the U.S. or Canada, you know, we're kind of looking to see what libraries are, you know, what's the closest library we can possibly get it from, and are they a lending library that, you know, is likely to send something to us. You know, sometimes you know, if it's a I will say this, if it's a brand new book that just came out in the last couple of weeks, we're probably not going to be able to get it through Worldcat. If it's a textbook, that's a hit or miss thing, depending on how popular and how new the book is. It really depends on the book and how widely it's available. This is a really weird book that it's available in a lot of Australian. I think it must be an Australian writer or something. But if you go through the next bunch of pages, it's all Australian libraries. But this one, Rochester Public Library, does seem to own a copy. So I had requested it for the patron with the hope that we'd be able to get it from Rochester. All right, so Worldcat is something that you can search from home. You can just go to worldcat.org. You can use the advanced search box. You can get all kinds of information about the book, similar to the way that you'd search our catalog. The only thing is you can't request the book, but what you can do is once you find a book that you're looking for, that you want to get in Worldcat, if you call the reference desk or just come see me with really the best things if you can get me the title, the author, and if you scroll down a little bit, this OCLC number, or even the ISBN, either one is very helpful. If you can get either one of those numbers down at the bottom of the item record, you get either one of those numbers for me, I can place the request. And typically the turnaround, if we're getting something from the US or Canada, is like a week and a half. All these things are mailed library rate, which is a little bit cheaper for libraries to be able to ship things between each other, but it does take a little bit, maybe a little bit longer than regular mail. So just, you know, if you need something right away, we can't get it by tomorrow usually, but if depending on where it's coming from, and you know, its availability, we might be able to get it, you know, fairly quickly, but it depends. So that's Worldcat in a nutshell there. And this is just a look at what each one looks like. I'm just gonna go back to the chat for a second and just see if anybody had any questions about Worldcat or anything. Oh, oops, sorry. Trying to get back to the chat here. Oh, we've got a few questions. I think we've got some questions here. Okay, so Joyce, oh, sorry, actually scrolling up a little bit. Additional actions tag, is that different from, yeah, the tag, yes, it's something that you create for yourself. To describe the tag, the tags are really not that useful in the catalog searching. It's something that I think they envisioned it getting a lot more use, people tagging items with various headings and stuff like that. But honestly, the subject headings in the catalog search are much more useful, and you'll see those as you scroll. If you go to a catalog record for piece, if you scroll down a little bit, once you find your item there and you scroll down a little bit to the subject headings right here, subject, you'll see these different ones. If I click on Germany social conditions, 1933 to 1945, I'm going to see a whole bunch of books here on that particular subject heading. The tags are really, I think it was envisioned that it would be used a lot more, but I don't think they've really gained much traction. Is there a cost to request a books, DVD, whatever, from Worldcat or Comcat? That's also a very good question. So the answer is mostly no. Comcat, definitely not. All items that go through Comcat are free of charge. Doesn't matter what the item is, it's free to request. With Worldcat, so the library covers the shipping. We will cover the library that is lending it to Maynard. They will pay to they will cover, they'll pay to ship it here, and we will pay to ship it back. So no charges for shipping. We cover that. Some cases libraries have lending fees. I don't agree with lending fees. We don't have lending fees. If the library requests something from us, we don't have lending fees, and as I don't think any Minuteman libraries do, but you'll find this in the case with a lot of academic libraries, that they charge some kind of cost to borrow their items. So we'll ask you that up front. If you find something in the catalog that you really want to request, we'll basically ask you, like, we're going to assume we can get this for free, but how much are you willing to spend if they have a lending fee? So we break it down between $5, $10, or $20. Like basically, like, if they come back with a lending fee, what are you? How badly do you want that item? We won't cover the lending fee. We'll cover the shipping, but if there is a lending fee, we'll ask you to pay for that. So that's a great question. Thank you. And then the other question was, will you talk about electronic books that are not available from the Minuteman Library Network? So what I'm focusing mostly today is on the regular catalog, but that is a good question here. Basically, if you were to go to the digital collection, which kind of could be its own, I do teach this kind of as a separate workshop, but basically, if you sign in, you can basically search between all the different partner libraries in Minuteman. You can search between BPL, CLAMS, that was the other one I was forgetting, CW Mars, Merrimack Valley, Noble, Old Colony, and Sales. You can search between the various networks there. So like if by default, all your results are going to be for Minuteman items, but if you go, like, if you click on, you have to, it is a pain because you actually have to search each one individually. Like you have to go into the Merrimack Valley catalog here and search for something. Once you find it, you log in, and even though you're a Minuteman patron, you can still check out the item now, which is a somewhat of a new feature. You used to not be able to do that up until about a year or two ago, but yes, you can definitely do that. And if you have any questions on doing that, I'm happy to answer them. Probably that would be for another workshop, though. I think we're all caught up on chat questions, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the next thing I want to talk about, which is talking about Minuteman Library account features. So to get to your account, there are two ways. There's that kind of long URL there, find.minlib. III, etc. That's kind of a pain in the butt way of getting there. You can also get there on our website if you just go to the main page and click on Access My Account, or from the main catalog page. Again, find.minlib.net. If you go there, login is right up at the top here on the right, that blue button, and there's also My Account. It brings you to the same place. You click on login, you type in your library card number, type in your PIN, and now we're in the account. Now I know it just brought us back to the catalog here, but if we click on My Account, here's where we can see all the things you have checked out, what their due dates are, what their call numbers are, their barcode numbers, etc. You have the option on the left here to renew them. You just click on the box and you can renew various things. You can, if you click on the link, it'll bring you to the item record there. If you click over on the left-hand side there for holds, you can see any holds that you've placed. You can change the pickup location. You can cancel the hold. You can freeze the hold. Let me just jump ahead to my slides here. Yeah, actually, we're going to talk about canceling and freezing in just a second. But just to go over some things that you can, some of the basic things you can do with your account is to, of course, view and renew your items, view and cancel items you've requested, view and pay outstanding fines. Now, one thing I should mention about fines is that very, very soon the Maynard Library, the trustees have actually already voted that we're going to be eliminating fines on our items. So that's some pretty big news. We're excited to announce that very soon, more in public. But we'll be eliminating our fines, so you won't really have to worry about fines from Maynard items. From other libraries, though, you may still incur fines. You do have the option of paying those fines online through it's a very secure service through PayPal that you can do that. You can create or change your PIN there in your account. You can update your email address or phone number. So basically, you make sure you get those updates when your book has been received by the library. You want to make sure that we're emailing you at the right place or calling you at the right place to let you know when that gets here. In your account, you can also see any ebooks or digital content you've checked out, and you can return them from that same place. Some other cool things you can do with your account is do a reading history. Now, reading history will keep track of all the books that you check out till the end of time. So once you activate it, anytime you check out something from either the Maynard Library or any other Minuteman library, it'll keep track of what books you've checked out. Now, we don't do that by default. There's kind of privacy reasons for that, why we don't keep track of all the books that you ever check out. But it is something that if you want to opt into, you can do that. So I'll show you where to go in your account to create a reading history. So don't assume that we already are keeping track. Right now, unless you opt in, once an item gets checked back into the library, we actually have no way of ever knowing who's checked out X books. So but if you create a reading history, you alone will have access to be able to see what books you've checked out in the past. I apologize, there's a very loud truck outside that's going to be beeping here. Some other things you can do with your account is access lists. So that basically lists are items that you want to read or watch in the future. So kind of like a cart. And then you can also access ebooks that you've checked out or return them. So let's touch on a few of those important ones here. Let's talk about freezing your holds. So freezing your holds basically keeps your spot in line on the wait list. If, for example, like if you're going on vacation and let's say you're like, you've been waiting for the new Barack Obama book for the last 3 months, and you're going on vacation next week for like a month, and you don't want to lose your spot in line, but you also know that if the book comes in for you, you're not going to be able to pick it up. What you can do is freeze your spot in line. And that'll let's say you're number 3 on the list. You will still be number 3 on the list when you get back. It's just anybody that was behind you, if those first 2 people, if it cycled through those first 2 people, then it would have gone to you. It won't go to you while you have the hold frozen while you're on vacation. It'll go to the 4th person. But when you get back from vacation, you unfreeze the hold. The important thing is you have to make sure you unfreeze the hold once you get back. You'll be able to then be right at the top of the wait list. So anytime you're going on vacation and you have some items on your hold list, it's really a good idea to freeze them, unless you're just going away for 2 or 3 days, and then it's not an issue. But if you're going away for an extended period of time, you might want to freeze your holds. And another thing too about freezing holds is, within reason, if you're going to be going away for a few days and you're worried about the item coming in while you're away and et cetera, if you call us, we can either freeze the hold or we can we can keep it on the hold shelf for a couple extra days, but we won't do it unless you call us and tell us to do that. So that's a little bit about freezing your holds. So this slide is just telling you where to go about, this red arrow is showing you where to cancel your hold, and the right arrow is showing you where to freeze them. That's just, again, right here. You can see if I click on this box here, if I update the list, if I click on that cancel, and then I update the list, that would cancel my hold. Now this item 123 has already come in for me. It's ready. I must pick it up by July 1st. It's ready in Maynard. I can't freeze the hold because it's literally already here for me. But the other three that I've got outstanding holds, those ones I can freeze my spot in line, or I can go ahead and cancel them. All right, so that is freezing holds and canceling holds. Everybody's pretty cool with that, I assume. Let me just check the chat. Okay, looks like everybody's doing all right. Some other things we can talk about with your account. If you go to edit your account, which is up here under my name, if you click on that, you've got a whole bunch of things that you can change there. You can change your username. A username basically allows you to have a username instead of having to type in your library card number every time. Some people, 14 numbers is a lot of numbers to remember. So you can, I do something like J Robichaud, and I can basically hold on to, keep track of the username there. You can change your PIN. You can change the email address that you use for notifications. You can change your default pickup location. And you can also do things like mobile notifications so that you're receiving text nets. You can basically get a text message whenever your items are ready instead of having to worry about, checking your email every now and then. And so the mobile notifications are really a cool tool. Okay, let's talk about lists. I don't actually use this feature myself personally, just because I use Goodreads for keeping track of books that I want to read, but certainly some people do like to use this feature. Basically, what lists will do is, as you're searching through the catalog, you can create a list based on, like, some people will do like movies I want to watch, or sci-fi picks, or mystery picks, whatever it is. And then you can basically categorize, all these books that you want to read later, and put them in a specific list for, you basically create it however you want to do. All your gardening books to check out, etc. You can make it whatever you want. And to add it to the list, first you basically have to put it into your cart and then save it to the list. So let's go through the process of how to do that. So, like, if I search for traders, I find the book here. What I then have to do is, this is one of the places where adding it to your cart actually helps. So let's say I add it to the cart, and then I view the cart. What I can then do is I can remove it from the cart, add a tag, and again, those tags are really not worth the effort. I can email it to me, or I can save it to a list. I actually wish they made saving it to a list a little bit easier to find here, but then I can go ahead and add it to. I've only got 2 lists here. I kind of did them as just to play around with them, but I could put this as classics to read or movies to watch, and then I just add it to my list, and there it is in my list. And so I can put different things in my list, and from your account, if you go over here on the left, you can, if you click on my lists and you click classics to read, there's Fates and Traders, and there's a few other items that actually, it looks like I haven't really played around with this since 2012 to actually add anything, but that's where I can go and to add things to a list. There are, of course, other websites that you can use, like a library thing, Goodreads. There are other places where, if you want to, kind of create like to read or use a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet, but it is one other place you can use if you want to create lists of items that you might want to read later. So kind of a neat little feature. Let's talk a little bit about renewing items. Once you have something that's checked out there, let's actually go to my checkouts. Let's say we want to renew The Faded Sky and my son's favorite, I Hate to Go to Bed. Let's go ahead and renew the marked items. It says, do you want to, are these the 2 items you want to renew? And I say yes. Not all renewals were successful. See details below. So I hate to go to bed has too many renewals. My son we've tried to renew this too many times. So I'm going to have to tell him we have to return that book. So basically and then the other one, the Faded Sky, that one does show here as renewed. So it'll give you an update once you try to renew. It'll tell you, which ones were successful, which ones weren't. Do that by calling the library too. We're happy to renew over the phone, but this kind of gives you that at-home functionality to be able to do it here. So you just click on whichever items you want to renew, and then you just say renew marked, or you actually have the option to renew all as well. So you can renew all the items if you really wanted to do that as well, if they all had the similar due dates. All right, so we've got something in the chat. Can you create new lists, giving them your own names? Yes, absolutely. That's the whole point. It's basically for you. It's for your own. I only have movies to watch later and classics, but those are just 2 ones that I created. You can make 30 different lists, Joyce, for whatever you want it to be, and you can edit the name of the list. You can create other lists. You can really can go wild with it. Creating these different lists, and once you go into my lists here, you can go in, and then you can definitely, whichever ones you want to add, or you can delete them there as well. So there's definitely some different things you could do there. Paying fines online, we're not going to talk too much on this because we're actually we've already at the 1 o'clock hour there, and paying fines really isn't that much of a thing as it used to be. But basically, with paying fines online, you can pay any fine of more than $1 using your credit card. It's done securely and privately. There's a e-merchant that basically takes care of everything, and well, actually, this doesn't really apply anymore about the fines being under $10 for you to be able to check out anything. So don't worry about that. But basically, just know that if you ever did have a large fine or your replacement cost for an item, you could take care of it online. Reading history. Yes, this is an important one. So like I said earlier, your account can keep a history of everything you've ever checked out. And this actually comes in handy, especially if you want to make sure you're not reading the same book twice, or if you want to just keep track of all the books that you've read throughout the year. Like I said, Minuteman doesn't do this automatically for privacy reasons, so you do have to opt into it first. And you can later on, if you want to delete titles from your history or export it into an Excel file, you do have those options, or you can opt out of this as well. But let me show you where the reading history would be. So under my account, it is right here on the left-hand side, reading history. And so you'll see I can scroll down, and you've got multiple pages. Actually, it looks like I've got 42 pages here of different things that I can go through and I can actually, if I want to, I can delete them by clicking cancel and then delete marked. I can delete the whole reading history if I want. If I say delete all, I can export the reading history into a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet if that's something I was interested in doing instead, or I can opt out. Now, when you go into reading history, if you've never opted in, you'll actually see, you won't see anything here. It'll be completely blank because we haven't been keeping track. But all you'll see really here is an option to opt in. You just click on that, and then every book starting from then on that you check out either at Maynard or another Minuteman library, it'll keep track of the book. And if you just click on the title here, it'll bring you to the item record, so you can read a little bit more about what books you've read. Okay, so that's reading history. Is everybody cool with reading history? I think it's a great. I go back to it every now and then. I use Goodreads as well, but reading history is kind of a nice bit, because the thing about your reading, like Goodreads doesn't keep track of can't keep track of movies you've watched or things like that, things that aren't books. So your reading history, it'll keep track of everything that you've ever, it doesn't matter what format it is. If you check out the library's telescope, it'll tell you that you checked out the telescope. So it'll tell you everything you've ever checked out at the library. And the very last thing I want to just very briefly touch on, I can't really show you on my phone, but there is, of course, a library app that you can use if you get it on the Google Play Store, the Apple App Store. It's just MLN Mobile or Minuteman Library. You can search for it either way, and of course it's a free app, and it gives you options to do things like search the catalog from your phone, which you can actually do even without downloading this app. If you just go to find.minlib.net on your phone, it gives you like a mobile version of the catalog, so you don't necessarily need the app to do the catalog searching. But some nice functions about the app itself is it does give you the My Account feature. So, renewing, doing your reading history, things like that, you can do right from the app. You can check out event calendars for all the different libraries. You can see what's going on at not only the Maynard Library, but other libraries. You can access the e-resources at various libraries. You can check on museum passes. There's even one really cool feature that is that's nice is the digital library card. So if you don't want to carry around one more card, if you're really looking to clear out your wallet, you can there's an option for the digital library card that goes under My Account, and basically it'll have a barcode that gets put into you. It's on the app, and it'll be able to scan with our scanners there, kind of replacing the physical library card. So that's something where if you're interested in, if you're having a hard time with it, maybe just swing by the reference desk, and I'm happy to kind of walk you through the app and get you set up on the digital library card there. But kind of a nice feature to have. And then these are just some screenshots of what the Minuteman Library app looks like. You select your library that you belong to. That one in the middle there is just kind of showing you the item details of an item. Of course, it's the app is a scaled down version of the catalog, so it's not going to give you as much detail there. And then on the right is just like search results. And so that is pretty much a wrap on everything with the Encore catalog. There is a frequently asked questions section on the Encore there that if you click on that, it'll bring you there. But I'm definitely happy to answer any questions you have. I'll stick around for a few minutes if you have any questions, either in the chat or if you want to put your mic on, I can answer them. But you can also, of course, email me at jrobichaud@minlib.net. You can call the reference desk, or now you can just, now that we're open, you can stop by. We'll be open expanded hours starting in July. So definitely keep an eye on the website for that, but it's going to be very, very close to our pre-COVID hours. So keep an eye out for that. And I will also be sending the slides out to everybody and a recording link. We have a question from Joyce about privacy, security, who's tracking you, cookies, any comments? So Joyce, is that in regards to your reading history that you're wondering about, or is it in relation to the paying for the fines? The reading history, okay. So it is secure in that, as secure as anything else can be. I mean, I really can't speak too much about, whether it could be hacked or not. But as far as reading history, I can tell you that even as a library staff member, I can't access your reading history. I can see the items that you currently have checked out. Of course, that makes sense. But reading history is something that even at a high staff level, we don't have access to, and we can't provide. If somebody comes in, we can't provide your reading history. Like, we literally cannot produce your reading history to anyone. Like, if it was even a matter of national intelligence, I could not give them your reading history. I don't have a way of doing that. The only way I could get into your reading history is with your account number and your PIN, which we actually don't have access. We don't have access to your PIN. That's why if you call us We can change your PIN, but we can't, we don't know what your PIN is. So I guess in that regard, it's pretty secure as far as your reading history. But, you know, so it's really it's your own personal judgment if you want that information out there. I'm sorry, if you want that to be accessed online, I feel comfortable with it, but it's really kind of your call. But it's as private and secure as can be. So that's everything here with the catalog. Anybody else have any other questions? Let me actually exit the screen sharing here. Oh, thank you, Patience. Yeah, Worldcat. Worldcat is great. I love you know, being able to, you know, search everywhere for an item. You know, Minuteman and Massachusetts, I think, have amazing libraries. I think Massachusetts has the best libraries in the country, but you know, even still, there's regional things, and there's just other things that, you know, no Massachusetts library is going to be able to have. So it's nice to have the ability to request something from all over the country. And you know, I usually am processing anywhere from 5 to 10 Worldcat items in any given week. So we definitely get a lot of usage out of Worldcat. If there's ever something that you're looking for, just give us a call, and again, get that title, author, and Worldcat number if you can get it, or the ISBN, and you know, most times we're able to get those. Sometimes we can't, sometimes there's no lenders, but usually it works out. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap that up. Thank you again, everybody, for coming, and we'll see you in the library. Thank you.